Hi everyone, it's Gregory here. You're watching Not Only Code. Answering the question from the title, yes, it is possible to be a manager as an introvert. It is possible to be a manager, a leader, a good engineering manager as an introvert, but it includes some challenges that extroverts do not necessarily face. In this video, I will tell you about what are these challenges, how to overcome them, and how to use some advantages of being an introvert to do your job as an engineering manager better. When I started thinking about becoming a manager earlier in my career, I wondered whether actually I can thrive as a manager since I'm an introvert. I was thinking whether I can lead people, whether people would like to follow me. And over time, it appeared that yes, I can do it. And I believe that everyone can be a good engineering manager, no matter whether you're very extroverted or introverted. But here are some challenges that you will need to face and some things that you will need to learn if you, an introvert, decide to become an engineering manager. The first and the biggest problem is energy management. When you have a lot of social interactions as an introvert, at the end of the day, you will be so tired. So as an introvert who works as a manager, you will need to talk to people a lot. And in order to do it efficiently, what you need to do is to balance this. You cannot just have a day full of meetings and expect yourself to be efficient during the whole day. So in order to do it well, you need to figure out what works for you, how much energy you can spend on meetings every day. Maybe you can think of times of the day that work for you better. I prefer to have meetings around the middle of the day. Before lunch, after lunch, this is where I work well with other people, where I'm chatty, where I feel energized. But early in the morning and towards the end of the day, I prefer a quiet time. I prefer to work on my own. Only you know what will work for you. But it's important to have this self-awareness and to understand yourself in order to work well as a manager in the long term. The second big challenge is getting the stuff done in larger meetings. Whether you want it or not, you will have larger meetings. For some people, larger is maybe 5 people. For some, it's 10. But you will certainly have meetings where a number of people talk to each other, where it gets a little bit chaotic, where maybe sometimes you need to ensure that people come back to the main point and stop digressing. And it's easy to just detach mentally when this situation happens in a meeting. Pretend that I'm listening while I'm actually doing something completely different. But this way, it's easy to disappoint your team. Staying focused during those meetings and pushing for what you want to get done is critical for your team. That's what your team members count on, that you're getting there to talk to other people and you get what we need as a team done. Fortunately, it's a skill that can be learned. In the beginning, it wasn't easy for me. Like any new skill, I struggled with that. And related to energy management, from the previous point, I was totally drained at the end of the day. But now, before every larger meeting where I need to achieve something, I write it down, and then during the meeting, I make sure that there is time for my points. When the discussion gets a bit too loud, I wait a moment, and then I ask people to please come back to the point that I was making, and let's make a decision that I care about. And the last challenge is to build a lot of relationships in the company. Introverts prefer to have fewer people that they talk to, fewer closer friends. They don't like larger groups of casual acquaintances. But when you work in a larger company, when you work as a manager there, you need to know a lot of people. You need to be comfortable reaching to other people to get their help, maybe to get some questions answered. So that's something that as an engineering manager you will need to deal with. You will need to learn how to reach out to people and not to wait half a day because you struggle, because you don't know how to write a message. Just like the other two, it's a skill. It's a skill where as an introvert, probably you start on a lower level of this skill, but over time, with enough effort, you can get to a level where reaching out to people just becomes a habit for you. So when you're an introverted engineering manager, there are certainly challenges, but also as an introvert, you have a number of advantages that will allow you to do this job better. The first one is that introverts usually are quite good at observation because they do not want to be in the center of attention. They prefer to stay a bit on the outside, and as such, they have this kind of different perspective than people who are very deeply, very actively involved in some discussion. If you combine this skill of observing and noticing things, paying attention to details, if you combine this with the ability of being heard and having your voice in the meetings, then you can achieve a lot because you can bring a lot to the table. And the more you do that, the more people respect you, the more people learn to listen to you, and the less effort you need to put into ensuring that people will actually give you voice. And the second advantage is that introverts thrive in small working environments. As an engineering manager, one of the most important tools for you, one of the most important parts of your job is to have one-on-ones. And introverts usually enjoy listening to other people. And a lot of programmers, a lot of engineers are also introverts. So as an introverted manager, you will find it easier than an extroverted manager to talk to programmers one-on-one, to understand them better, to help them to overcome some obstacles, to help them grow, just because you will find it easier to listen to them, to think about what you hear, to see the perspective, to understand them. This is not something that you automatically are great at just because you're an introvert, but that's something where probably you are starting from a bit higher level than extroverts. One-on-ones are really important and they are really great tools. And as an introvert, you can use them to your advantage, and that's what you should definitely do. So to sum up this short video, folks, whether you're an introvert or extrovert, you can be a leader, you can be a manager, you can be a good, solid, efficient engineering manager. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope that you enjoyed it. See you next time.